Welcome, everybody, to the Black Diamond for Monday, March 27th, 2017. John Lavenia, as always, here with you on a Monday night, ready for thrills and conversations and philosophy and all the stuff we like to talk about here on the Black Diamond Call. And do have a couple quick announcements, actually only one quick announcement, and that is that event tickets are selling now for the Marketing Mastery event, April 19th through 22nd in Orlando, Florida. If you are a brand new member and wondering if you should go, the answer is yes. If you are a veteran marketer and wondering if you should go, the answer is yes. If you consider yourself anywhere in between those two criteria, the answer is still yes. This is for everybody. And I am so looking forward to meeting everyone there at the Marketing Mastery event in Orlando. You can get details about that by logging into your Digital Altitude member site and looking for the pop-up, which should pop right up right in front of you, showing you details about the Marketing Mastery event. Or you can go directly to digitalaltitude.co/MME as in Marketing Mastery event. Also, if you need help with accommodations, we do have mydaevents.com, where we got group rates on hotel accommodations there. You can also email events@digitalaltitude.co if you would like help with that, events@digitalaltitude.co. Those are our announcements for today. This is the Black Diamond Call. This call is a little bit different in the way that we have, well, first of all, this is a long format call. Most of our calls are 15 minutes or so, our wake-up calls and such. This is more of a dialogue. This is more of an in-depth conversation about a different topic each week, different ideas. Quite often I have a different co-host here with me each week. Sometimes I fly solo. I do have an awesome co-host here with us tonight. And so the rules for this call are, well, first of all, we do this to share our experience with how we got to the top in our businesses. We have some experience here. We want to share that with you, especially for our new members, who I consider the most important people in the whole program, because you are the future. And if we can hasten and accelerate your evolution into a top earner, that's what we're here to do. So the way we roll this is you're going to hear our opinion on stuff, me, my guest speaker. This is how we run our business, our lives, and the idea here is that you take what you like and leave the rest, right? Our truth is our truth. See how this applies into your life and see if this works for you, and we recommend you pay attention and you see, once again, how this stuff is workable, how you can relate to it, how you can use it. Yes, this training is for use, and it's usable in many different areas. You'll find that we don't get too much into like nuts and bolts here, how to do like certain kinds of marketing or whatever. This is about the why and the theory and the philosophy behind why what we do works. So there you go. And as I always say, if I say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. That's just how we roll. We don't run like heavy filters on this call. This is just straight up from brain through mouth to your ears and your brain. So yeah, there you go. Having said that, we've got a great guy out here tonight, and it's kind of like his topic and what he's going to be introducing us all to is sort of in line with my disclaimers. It's very authentic, all right? So we're not here to like filter or to put on some pretense of, this is how I think I'm supposed to be for you to like me and to buy my stuff in my marketing deal. This is about, he's already laughing. This is about you being authentic. And you know what, there's some power in that. Now I'm just going to set a preamble here, Joel, and I'm going to bring you out here. I remember when I was newer in sales, I heard somebody say something which I think was pretty asinine. At the time, I didn't know much, and I thought it was, wow, that's interesting. And the saying was, fake it till you make it. I thought, okay, I got to fake it now. I got to fake it. Guess what? For as long as I fake it, I struggled in sales. And then I got to a point where I started to gain some confidence. I started to feel like, you know what? I got a good offer. I've got a good opportunity here. I've got a good product or service. I've got what I've got is a solution. And you know what? These people who are in communication with me to whatever degree about this solution is because they want a solution. And you know what? I'm a pretty good guy too. And I started to realize that, you know what? I'm enough already. And the offer's enough. Everything, this is all enough. I don't need to try and fake something. It's not about whether or not I've already made millions of dollars or whether I've got some rank that somebody else assigned to me or anything like that. I started to feel like the way to do it right is to know I'm doing it right. And I stopped faking it. And guess what? It worked. It worked. I started transferring some enthusiasm to other people. Now, a lot of times people will look at, what they think it takes to be successful in sales and marketing, and they'll get some picture in their mind of someone, not them, of course not them, okay, but someone else, some special person, some personality that is different than them, and they immediately disqualify themselves. Like, oh, I'm not like that image that I get of whatever this imaginary ideal salesperson or marketer is, and so now I'm instantly inadequate, right? So we're really talking about self-invalidation here. And they think sometimes that being enthusiastic, like they see some people are very enthusiastic, and they're very overt about it, bubbly or whatever, they think that they need to somehow be like that. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I think Joel is going to expand on it beautifully, that who you are is enough, and whether you're bubbly or not, you can still be enthusiastic, and you can still transfer enthusiasm to another person. Yes, you can be successful in sales and marketing. That doesn't mean you mope around and be miserable, but at the same time, I have made millions with raw enthusiasm, which I am expressing to you right now. Do you hear it? I hope you do, because it's a state of conviction, it's a state of confidence, it's a state of certainty. It may or may not sound bubbly, okay, but it's a state of knowingness, and that's where I think real enthusiasm lives, right there. And polish it however you want, or not. And I think that's where we're going tonight. And in fact, I don't know where we're going tonight. Joel, where are we going tonight? Joel Straight, ladies and gentlemen. Joel Straight.
Hello, and John, thank you so much for that intro and also that intro story, because I was able to relate so much along the way. I received the same advice, not just when I was in sales, but actually when I was a kid. It was, we've had several discussions about the power of belief and where beliefs are made and stuff like that. And I was told that stuff when I was a child, to fake it till I make it. And when I got into a sales environment, my first sales manager told me the exact same thing, and I had the exact same experience. I struggled all the entire time that I faked it. And it wasn't until I got real honest with myself and just basically said, you know what, I am enough. Almost the exact process that you described, that I started seeing results. And that was before I ever started doing my own business. I started seeing results in a sales job at a car dealership when I was 18 years old, because I was like, you know what, we got awesome cars, and we got good customers, and we got a pretty good team of people, and we're all here to help the customer first. And it's because we began to take that approach, or because I began to take that approach, that I started to see a little bit of success. And you're very correct. You don't have to really know a whole lot about sales. You just need to be enthusiastic. And that process, that simple emotion of being enthusiastic will convey that to whoever it is that you're talking to your audience if you're talking to an audience, or if you're talking to somebody at an event, or whatever it happens to be. Your enthusiasm will give others enthusiasm about what it is that you're doing. So that was an awesome intro, John, and it really kind of helped put this call on point to get it kicked off. Awesome. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is kind of what you mentioned, the power of authenticity and why it matters, and sort of a little process that I use in order to actually apply it, because sometimes it's not always easy. Even if you've been honest and authentic with yourself for a long time, we can still catch ourselves trying to act a certain way around other people, or catch ourselves trying to act a certain way on camera. And I developed a little process that sort of helps me get in line with that authenticity before I go on camera, or before I communicate through an email or anything like that. And that's really helped me not only build trust and loyalty, but it's helped me with my results as well. And it's also helped me to be a happier person, just all the way across the board. So the power of authenticity, that's how I describe it. It's the keyword, catchphrase word that I use, is the power of authenticity. And what that is being 100% truthful and just like in this call, not really filtering out what you say as much as you normally would. Obviously, still have that smart filter on to make sure that you're not, going after intentionally offending people, but being honest and just being confident enough and knowing enough in yourself to be able to express that out there in the open world. And speaking of your experiences, that type of stuff will go a long way in building.
Hey everybody, sounds like we lost Joel here for a second, and Joel, I don't know if you can hear us, but
I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Joel's back.
I accidentally muted myself. Where did I leave off?
Oh, we were talking about being authentic.
Okay. Well, yeah. That process of being authentic will create brand loyalty. It'll create trust, and because people can smell your BS. They can smell when you're not, like when you're coming on and you're trying to act like somebody else. They can kind of sniff that out, and when you're not being yourself because it feels a little off. It doesn't feel like how you would talk to one of your friends. And John, you were talking about different sales jobs and different sales things that you've done. One of the things that I learned in sales was to be a friend first. And have you had any experiences like that before, John?
I've had certainly, like in the home-based business arena, I've heard all sorts of interesting interpretations of what sales and marketing is, and some of that included the whole concept of relationship marketing, which I have, I've embraced that, but I've also sort of shifted my thinking more towards consultative selling. And that sits better with me than relationship marketing, because there is a point where, and I don't want to hijack your train here, but there is a point where I think people need to step off from just trying to be everybody's friend. And right, you get where I'm going with that.
No, I very much do. And the consultative selling point is very true. And what consultative selling is, for those who are a little new to that phrase, is you're helping the person solve a problem, solve a need, and helping them fulfill their wants and needs, and making sure that your product or your service is the right fit for them. And if it's not the right fit for them, it's okay for you to say, hey, I'm not really sure that this is the right fit for you. So that's one thing that I've personally, that's been my experience with consultative selling, and that process has actually gained me a lot more business. And even from people who didn't buy, they still went and referred their friends to me to buy for their friends' needs. So that's something that I've experienced with consultative selling. Now, the power of authenticity, as I was talking about, that connects 100% with that consultative sales process. Because if you're enthusiastic about what it is that you're doing, and you have to actually be enthusiastic, you can transfer that enthusiasm, and you can help develop both a want and a need for the person that you're consultative selling with. And that's been a very effective process for me along the way. So throughout this process, what I've been saying here is, why the power of authenticity matters. And I kind of want to shift a little bit into how I identify on my own level whether or not I am being authentic. And it's really very simple. It's not this big, huge meditative process or anything like that. I simply ask myself before I make a decision, does this feel light or does this feel heavy? Like, is this a hell yeah? Or is this I kind of want to do that? And if it's a hell yeah, then I go for it. And if it's anything but a hell yeah, I don't move forward on that. And that using that process has led me down so many happy roads to success as opposed to some of the other roads where I was trying to learn stuff because people told me that I had to learn it, or trying to do things that people told me I had to do, and that process kind of left me unfulfilled, and it left me wanting more, and eventually I ended up going down the original path that I wanted to go down in the first place, which was building a business online and working in the home business space and getting an opportunity to lead others, and that to me felt like the right fit. So that whole, is this a hell yeah, or yeah, that's kind of a good opportunity or something like that. And if it's a hell yeah for you, then move on it, and move quickly, and be enthusiastic about it, and be vocal about it. I think using that process, just that one little decision, is this light or heavy? If it's light, is it a hell yeah? Yes, it is. All right, let's go. Using that process will help your content that you create come out better. It will help your communication with your team be more clear. It will help any communication that you're doing inside of video, inside of email. It will help that stuff convey your values, and it will help convey the value of the product or the opportunity that you're interested in bringing other people to. So that has been my experience with the power of authenticity, and it's given me a huge response back. A lot of brand loyalty, a lot of trust. A lot of people call me and ask me before they make a decision in their business, and that has only come from being as honest as I possibly can be at all times with myself and with others. So it's all about if you're building a business for today or if you're building a business for today and tomorrow. And I'm about that long-term game. I want a business that's paying me today, paying me tomorrow, 6 months, and 2 years from now, and it's about playing that long game. And I think that's where that's kind of where a lot of people tend to fall short, is they're running for that quick dollar, and I think that if you're going for this that kind of that quick thing, you might make some money, but you're also going to be constantly looking. You're going to be looking outside for all these other opportunities, and eventually, when you pick up too many different things, you're unable to excel at the one that you're originally doing, the one that you really wanted to build and grow. So, John, what's been, what's your feedback? You've been kind of.
Well, the thing is that people buy from people, and so you've got right here, like with what we do, you've got an opportunity to inject yourself and certainly your personality into the front end of the process. And so when we think about what our duty is, like what we actually signed up here to do, if you're a marketer, well then you're doing the marketing, right? And we need you to do that, right? Because the company doesn't do that, right? And quite often, Joel, I've seen where people who have become, involved in whatever sort of a business, a home-based business or an online business of some sort, where they're rather dependent on someone else to sort of do for them what they've never done, obviously, for themselves. Let's say they're new to marketing, but they sometimes assume that the way they see others doing it, they have to imitate that, or that somehow the company or their sponsor or someone other than them is going to do something for them, which only they could do. Only they can do this. Now, I want you to just think about the logic of this. I was actually talking with some clients in my company last night about this very same idea, where they were wondering, well, should I put myself out there? And my response was, well, you have to, right? So think about this. Let's say you've got a product provider, and they obviously have a product that's valuable in the marketplace, and then they're not selling it directly to the customer, but there's an opportunity. See, there's an opportunity for you to participate as a marketer, as an affiliate, as some sort of an intermediary between the product provider and the end user. Well, guess what? That opportunity would not exist for you if the company could, on its own, do all the marketing. So yes, you're needed here. And the one thing you're needed to do is that. It's that one thing. Now, it's very nice that the company handled all these other things. Okay, so you don't need to do all these other things. And some people, in order to practice work avoidance, will sometimes encumber themselves with all the busyness that they don't have to do anyway, just to avoid doing the one thing they have to do, the one thing that's going to make them money, the one thing that statistically is the highest paid profession in the world, and that is sales and marketing. So, and if you learn that, you pretty much own the world, right? That's it. That's like the main thing. So now what? Now we're into an opportunity where we can either embrace our post and learn all we can about it, which is, of course, all that this program is about here. We can learn all we can about it, and we can be the best, possible version of us as we perform, right? Or we could avoid that and sort of sidestep it, which is not profitable. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do. And I think it all comes down to this idea that they have to be something different or special or like the other guy or imitate or somehow that they're not qualified to do this of themselves, right, with their own who they are, right? And so this is a thing. This is more into like a counseling topic here, where we're seeing, people who get on with it, people who put themselves out there, which you mentioned. You got to put yourself out there. People who do that, even if they're not necessarily a performer, I could never shoot videos like Joel or, my goodness, John Lavinia, he's like a professional speaker. I can't do that. Okay. And so that sort of self-doubt is right there with like things like indecision and all other sort of emotional roadblocks that we throw up for ourselves, and then we don't reach into the marketplace. We don't put ourselves out there. So the point is, we've got to get some point of confidence that we can operate from. And you may not be, the best video person or orator or whatever, but maybe you're into writing. Maybe you're into like social media stuff. Look, here's the thing. If you're ever feeling inadequate, just go on Facebook or Twitter, or pick whatever social platform you like, and just look at the random drivel that consumes most people's time. and then let's see if you measure up. Right? I'm telling you that the bar is set really low, really low. Like you can, in fact, one of the issues that I've had, Joel, is that I've been studying philosophy for 30 years, man. I got a really big vocabulary and a really high IQ, and I go out on social media, and it's like, what are we talking about now? Kittens? Right. I want to quote Socrates, and we're talking about what we had for lunch, and So the bar is really low. And again, this may sound critical, and I don't mean to be critical. People can do whatever they want on social media. That's why they're on social media, is because they have a little bit of a voice, and whatever. But I can tell you, unequivocally, I can tell you that people who reach, people who get exposure in the marketplace are going to attract attention because they're going to be interesting to somebody, and that's all you got to do to get people interested in you, what you're doing, what you offer. All you got to do to get people interested is to be interesting. And that means something different for everybody. And since there's 7 billion of us on the planet, well, there's a pretty good variety. You're going to, there's an old saying, even a blind squirrel can eventually find a nut. Well, okay, so if you're that bad, you're still going to, if you're putting yourself out there, you're going to attract some attention. And that's so necessary, so necessary. And I think what holds us back is feeling like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right, I'm doing it, wrong, and all this indecision, and then which leads to, if we do take action, what that looks like is inauthentic action. And so I think, and this is why, a lot of times we talk about personal growth kind of topics. We're talking about one right now. I think it's a very practical one. And the reason we talk about personal growth topics is because it's a preamble to being effective at anything. so there's not, like, you can't sidestep this, and that's why I think that whole saying, fake it till you make it, is such crap. And it's because what we're saying here is that we're just going to put on some personality, which isn't really ours, and we're going to somehow attract the right kind of attention. And yeah, even a blind squirrel can eventually find a nut. However, isn't it so much more freeing? You talked about things being heavy or things being light. Isn't it much lighter to just go forward with whatever point of confidence you have and to attract people who resonate with that? It is. It is.
Yeah.
And not only does it free you, but it frees them because now you're more relatable because you're not perfect. I'm not saying you got to run around and speak about all your vulnerabilities all day long. Okay, I know a lot of trainers say, oh, you need to be vulnerable. You know what? How about being strong? Is that okay? Can I be strong? Because that's what I really am. Okay, great. Then be strong. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think you need to enforce vulnerability on yourself. I think that's more psychobabble. But the idea that you're not perfect, which who is, right? Oh, and now you're relatable. If you're like putting on some kind of a show, then there's just less people who can duplicate that. You know, Joel, I had, and this is why I keep my mic muted because, you know, when you asked me to come out, I keep my mic muted because I know I'm going to talk for like a friggin' hour. But the
well, no, for me, it gives me a lot of back and forth, and I love that. Like I love that back and forth dialogue, or gives I don't know. To me, it just helps evolve the conversation. So I love it being able to toss the ball back and forth. And you know, you said something about you know, that I just lost that thought, and I'm going to pull it back out.
Hold on. While you're regathering that thought, let me tell you what the thought was that I was going to say. So, okay. And I even shared this from stage at Ascend in Maui. I talked about this time where I had lost almost everything after having become successful. And then I had some interesting decisions and wound up in business with the wrong people. Multi-million-dollar lesson. Let's put it that way. So there's that. And then I had to get back on my feet. So I gathered some funds, and I you know, mustered an opportunity. Here's something I could do. Here's something I think is going to work. This looks good. This looks good. And I shot a video on my iPhone while walking my dog. No script, no prep, no nothing. Just me, my iPhone, walking my dog. Shot a 5-minute video with a call to action at the end. I was in profit my first week. Okay, I was broke, Joel. I was broke, and I was in profit my first week. And we're not talking about, you know, light duty kind of opportunities. I'm into, like, you know, high ticket, top tier direct sales. That's the kind of stuff I do. And so this was what? This was authenticity. This wasn't me saying, hey, look at my Lambo. Now, if you got a Lambo, that's fine. Some people like to look at your Lambos. I'll tell you, I don't give a damn about your Lambo. Where are we going, and could you help me get there faster? And so you think about that. No sane person would follow you into business because of where you've been. They follow you because of where you're going. And I know there's a lot of insane people, you know, but assuming that you're looking to attract people that have some sort of a purpose in their life, which again isn't everybody, but assuming that's what you want, well, then they're going to be more attracted to the vision of where you're going, not where you've been, your story, your friggin' Lamborghini. Like, who cares, Lamborghini or not? No, and again, this is coming from a guy with 147 IQ and 30 years of philosophy under my belt. So I get it, that I'm not everybody. Yeah, some people, man, all they need to see is that Ferrari, and now, man, this is great. Okay, but you having accomplished the ownership of a Ferrari, and I'm on a tangent now, but bear with me. You having accomplished that, yes, it speaks of some credibility. It speaks that you're a person who does things. But more important to me is, where are we going with this? Okay, because there's more Ferraris. Maybe I want a Ferrari. Okay, but the idea here is that is the essence of leadership. The essence of leadership is someone with a self-determined destination who enrolls others in walking that path to that destination. It is a consideration of the future. It is not a consideration of the past. That's leadership.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I'll stop talking now. What was that thing?
No, I mean, it's absolutely true. You can't run a business. You can't drive a business forward when you're looking in the rear view. You just can't. And in addition to that, too, you know, I recall what I was going to say, too, was when you're authentic and you're acting as you like to act, you'll attract people who are like you. And I've done the opposite. I've built a business before where I was acting in the fake it till you make it kind of not totally 100% authentic personality, and I ended up with a lot of customers that I could not stand dealing with. And I was just like, I came to a conclusion one day, like, these guys can go elsewhere. I'm basically going to start over with me being me, and bringing people in that I love to work with, so that I wake up every single day excited to work with people and being enthusiastic to work with people. And that kind of snowballed into this ability to be more authentic in all that I say, all that I do, and it's attracted more people who have that vision, who want a better life, who want to, create a similar lifestyle that I've created for myself, and they want to do those types of things. And beforehand, it was, I was getting a lot of these sort of the lottery mindset kind of seeker, where they're looking to win big on the next opportunity, and that stuff just doesn't happen, and which kind of brings me to, is kind of a little bit of a shift in gears, but it brings me to thinking about the process. You were mentioning earlier that all we need for you guys to do is just market. DA handles the capture pages, they handle the sales funnel, all the tracking, and all the other crap that goes into running a digital business. But the process that's in there, and I don't know if everybody has gotten to like the Rise level or anything like that if you're on this call, but if you haven't, there's a process that leads up to that. There's a process that goes through, all the trainings that they go through that introduce you to how people are doing what they do, and sort of the basic fundamentals of business, and then right on into the Rise product where they kind of get into the the more advanced stuff, and being able to be in tune with that process comes from being it comes from the cornerstone of being able to communicate effectively. And if you're communicating effectively, what you'll find is that people will reach out to you. You won't have to do sort of this this huge intense marketing campaign. Instead, you can just kind of communicate to that one audience, communicate your vision, your message, and people will begin to reach out to you. And you can kind of just trust the process that's in there, in Digital Altitude System, and just kind of be like, yeah, it's great. If you have any questions, I'm always here to help. And I'm going to give my own opinion, be there for your team. That is my opinion. Not everybody shares that same belief, but I firmly believe in being there for your people. If they're going to take a chance on you and they're going to trust you, do right by them. I'm a firm believer in that. But trusting that process will make it easier for you to be able to explain that process. It'll make it easier for you to have more confidence in that process, and it'll help it'll help build a culture around you that people are excited to listen to, and they care what you have to say, and they take your advice seriously. And that only comes from that starting at that authentic level, starting at that being honest with yourself about the opportunity that you're participating in, being honest with yourself about the content that you're putting out there, and being honest with your audience. Somebody said to me the other day, it's not just about being honest with your audience, you got to be honest with yourself. And I said, well, if you're not honest with yourself, you're not honest with anybody. And it's not intended to be in a bad way, but it's because if you're not honest with yourself, you're going to be conveying some other side of you, or some other side that's not 100% in line with who you want to be and where you want to go. So, John, I can continue to rant on this stuff, but feel free to jump in anytime and just kind of let me know what your thoughts.
Okay, well, me jumping in, okay. So, and here's the thing. Let me just clarify this, because I'm seeing some chat in the chat rolls about, well, I don't want to fry. Well, look, I'm not here to invalidate you're wanting or not wanting of a Ferrari. For me, that's inconsequential. The idea that you can have it, and I see some people here talking about, oh yeah, you can have it. Like I see Simone just said, yes, you can have it. Yes, you can. I mean, do they make these nice things just for other people, or will they make one for you? I think they'll make one for you. That's fine. That's great. So the idea here is that you're actually going for what you want, but there's a bigger idea when it comes to sales and marketing, and you talked about it earlier, Joel, and that is that you're assisting others in getting what they want. Now, I want everyone to think about a book which I've quoted often, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I've read this book several times, more than several times actually, but you'll notice that there is something that is injected throughout this book. Joel, have you read Think and Grow Rich?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times. In fact,
cool.
I use it as sort of like a reference guide. If I ever get stuck, I just almost flip to a random page in Think and Grow Rich, and it always happens to give me the exact idea that I need in order to continue to move forward. So yeah, I've read it a couple times.
Well, I'm gonna reference this book again because there's a feature of this book and the way it's written, which is subtle, although if you read it a bunch of times, you'll get it. I'm going to tell you what it is right now because I too write books, and in fact, I'm about to start my next one. But one of the things that Napoleon Hill did in this book is that he reassured the reader again and again throughout the book. He reassured the reader that they can do this, that this success can be theirs. He wrote it from the posture and from the position of, this is not some unattainable or unreachable thing. This is very accessible. And you, Mr. and Mrs. Reader, you can experience these riches. You'll notice that throughout the book, that he continually reassures the reader. I think that was deliberate. And I think that, well, for me, that's one of the secrets in the book. He said, if you're ready, for the secret, you'll find it. I've found several. That's one of them. One of them is to continue thinking about your audience, keep putting yourself in the position of your audience, and keep bringing them closer to getting what they want. So you see, this is the transition here. We go from me to how can I serve, and this is a more I think it's a more natural way to do things because that's just how we attract people. Now, if someone again is so concerned about how do I look and what will they think and all this, now we're introverting, and this is a topic where I can go. I've done whole workshops on this, like multi-day workshops on this. But we're introverting now. We're wondering, how am I occurring to my audience, to the public, to whatever, rather than extroverting and saying, what can I do to serve this person? And, how does all of this occur to them in terms of the solutions that they're after? How can I be, again, I'll refer to something Napoleon Hill said, how can I be high on the QQS quotient, where he talked about, and if you haven't read the book, I'm confusing everybody right now. So what he talked about was that your income is affected by the quality, quantity, and spirit of the service that you render. So QQS, quality, quantity, and spirit. So I recommend everybody read this. It's a legendary work. So then, what we're looking at now, what we're looking at to do, is to occur as someone who can solutions. To occur as someone who has solutions, because you cannot give what you have not got. Okay, so that's where maybe, you with your Lamborghini may be a useful credibility builder. Okay, so now we've got that. But even if you don't have a Lamborghini, like when I shot that video walking my dog all those years ago, after having lost millions, well, guess what? The only thing I had was my vision and my resolve and my knowingness that I had something of value for people, and I put it out there. I had no showmanship about it. It's not like I was walking around with a $1 million, prize pedigree dog or something. It was a mutt that we rescued from the dog pound. In fact, all my dogs have been rescue dogs. But people resonated with the message and the vision of where we're going. You see, and so that's the thing right there. Is if you can communicate that, you can. But now that only comes with knowingness. So when we go back to the whole idea of enthusiasm, You've got to be sold yourself. You cannot give what you have not got. I've got to know something. Otherwise, I'm of no use to you, right? If I don't know more than you, then I'm of no use to you. I can't transfer my knowingness to you. I can't transfer my enthusiasm, my state of being sold myself. I can't transfer that to you if I don't already have it. And that's why I think fake it till you make it is a bunch of crap. Because now it's like, well, I'm faking it, so I'm trying to get you to do something which I haven't already cognited for myself. I want you to see value which I have not yet seen. And this is troubling. And when we get into things like, I'll quote somebody else now. So the late Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, tremendous book. My goodness, everybody read that book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talked about the difference between the personality ethic and the character ethic when it comes to trying to be effective in life, okay? And this is essentially the same thing he was talking about there, where people try to put on a personality like it's a quick fix, like I'm just going to pretend to be this because I'm going to, match and mirror and model and the other thing, and so they're faking it, right? However, the character ethic says this is who I am as a person. My being precedes what I do, and my being informs my doing, okay? And so that's more authentic. That's more authentic, and that you don't have to fake. There's no effort in it. And I've told Joel, I've told people throughout my career and counseling with thousands of people around the world that if the truth isn't good enough, well then go sell something else. You got to be on the right track. It's got to feel right to you. It's got to feel right.
Yeah.
So if you've got counter intention about if what I'm doing is right or I'm not sure, again, we're introverting. See, so this whole idea of insufficiency and this whole counter intention, in other words, counter to your intention, that you're doing something good and right and that you're being of benefit, that is terribly destructive. That's indecision. That's faking it, trying to put on some sort of a personality or whatever. You know what? And I look at it like this, Joel. I am going to attract, and I do attract my ideal prospect. I am outrageously attractive to my ideal prospect, and I am repulsive to those who are not my ideal prospect. Yeah. And what a wonderful time saver that is. Oh my goodness! Thank you. I'm so glad I'm repulsive. Right.
It is. You have to polarize in that way. If you don't do that, you will waste tons of time and often money as well on people that will drain you of your energy, and it cascades into other aspects of your business. It can sometimes cascade into your home life, which it has happened to me in my earlier years that way, before I kind of figured out what I was doing. Kind of unconsciously bringing the crud, home with me, and learning to say, okay, I'm not going to work with these types of people anymore, and so I'm going to do everything I can to, like you said, repulse them, get them away from me, get them away from my wife, get them away from my family, and I'm only going to work with people that align with what I'm doing, align with my vision. And speaking of vision, and also referencing back to what you said earlier, where you just had a vision, all of the leaders that you see in digital altitude, in fact, most of the leaders that you'll find out in the world as well, most of them started with nothing or next to nothing, and they just had that vision, and they were clear, honest, and authentic, and confident in speaking that vision. I remember years ago where when I first got online, I remember finding Alex Z, one of the top leaders in digital altitude, and I remember him doing Google Hangouts or like webinars and stuff like from his car, and speaking his vision. And I've watched his progress and process over the last few years just refine and get better and get better. And as a result, he's able to help a lot more people. And in that same, and just like from Napoleon Hill, and if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And it all started with him just speaking that vision. And it started the same way for me, too. When I got online, I didn't have anything. I was coming off of a failed offline business. I was $100,000 in debt. And I, I was living in my mother-in-law's basement when I got started online. And it started for me just making quick little videos speaking about the one or two things that I knew about in sales, and just I was speaking from experiences that I had at my previous jobs, my regular 9-to-5 jobs. I was just bringing that work experience onto a video and giving other people like, hey, this is my experience and this is what worked really well for me. And this is what I'm going to do in 2013, which was back when when I first got started online. This is what I'm going to do this year, and I would be thrilled if you were interested in joining me on that journey. And that was how I started expressing my authenticity, expressing my vision online, was just using those previous experiences and letting other people know what I was going to do and where I wanted to go, and inviting them to join me along the way. That whole process to me felt light, felt easy, and it worked. It worked very well, and it has been working very well for several years now. And I still use that same process a lot of the time. And whenever I'm training my new students and things like that, that's usually the first go-to that I have, is that, like, what do you want to do? What are your goals? Why do you want to do them? And the why, and John, I'm sure you can elaborate on this, the why you want to achieve that goal is often more important than the goal itself. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, goals should be aligned with purposes, and purposes are whys. So that's the main thing here. Is that it's another whole topic. Joe, why don't we do this, because we're already 47 minutes into this. Was there something else you wanted to cover in terms of the doingness of all this, or do you want to open it up for Q&A? What do you want to do?
I would love to open it up for Q&A. We've got about 10 minutes left or so. I would love to.
Yeah, it's not like a rigid end time. It's a very accurate start time. But yeah, I want to give people an opportunity. If they want to come out and speak with you in person, we could do that.
I would absolutely love to, because I want to hear what's going through your guys' minds and what's going through your hearts, and what you're experiencing as you're kind of going through your business, whether this is your first time or 50th time.
All right, sounds good. So I just opened up the Q&A session here. So if you want to come out here with Joel and myself, you can, if you're on a phone, you can click *6 and then I think 1 to confirm or 2 to cancel. Or if you're on the app, you can just click your mute button or whatever and come on out and raise your hand, and we'll call you out here. And let's see, we got a bunch of feedback in the chat room here, Joel. People are loving this conversation, and I'm loving it too. So thank you all for participating. It's always great to have people here with us live, which is, by the way, this is why we do this whole thing live, right, is because we like your participation, right? I mean, we could just do a studio recording. We'd actually have much better sound, but we're operating on a phone bridge. But yeah, this is part of the whole experience here, the community. So we'll suffer a little phone quality sound just to have the experience of being here live with you all. Like Johnny, who's about to come out here. Johnny, you're live on the air. How are you, bud?
Oh, I didn't mean to. I just hit the button by mistake.
Oh, too late. You're out here, man. Now you got to speak. Give us a profundity or something.
Okay. Getting back to I'm at my stage right now. I'm still in training, and I haven't even advertised yet. Hopefully, I'll start doing that tomorrow. And you talked about doing videos at the point where you haven't had the success yet, to say, follow me, a little bit more on that would be great, of how you can do videos at the stage,
So a couple of things. And this is something that anybody who I'm working with who comes and, joins with me, the very first thing I tell them is, number one, listen to your coach. That is number one, and follow the process that they bring you through. But number two is, before you promote anything, you have to promote yourself. Okay, and as you're saying, if you don't have the results yet, what do you talk about, right? Well, there's got to be a reason, John, why you joined Digital Altitude in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that reason that made you decide to want to take the leap and start with Digital Altitude?
My reason is, at this point in my life, it's too late to save for retirement.
Okay.
Then I think that's a good niche that I can share with other people who think it's a lost cause. It's too late for me. I've lost. I can't save any money. I'll have to live on Social Security or whatever. And I want to give them hope and let them know that it's not. They can do very well in just in a short period of time and gain back those have a very nice retirement in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so while you're waiting to get your link, first off, like I said, listen to your coach and go through the trainings, take notes, and trust that process. But while you're waiting to get your link in order to promote, what you can talk about is you can talk about your vision. You can also talk about some of the frustrations that it is to be, hey, I understand what it's like to be at this age and have no retirement and nothing set aside for myself, set aside for my children, set aside for my family or any of those types of things. I understand what that situation is like. I'm here to tell you that it can change, if you apply yourself. And just start speaking about the vision or the reason. You don't have to mention Digital Altitude yet because you don't have your link, but start speaking about the reasons why you want change. What is compelling you to want to start a business online, and start speaking about those reasons. You can kind of leave the DA link out of it until you actually get your link.
Links. I have my link.
Oh, you do? Oh,
yeah.
You do? Okay. Well, then in that case, you can start talking, you can start mentioning Digital Altitude. If you've got your link to start promoting, you can. Work with your coach, though, and obviously bounce that idea off of your coach, okay? Because we have a really great coaching team here. But with my personal team, I tell them to kind of start, the idea is to generate a buzz and gather interest in you and in your vision before you come out and say, here's the link to join. Here's what I've been talking about these last few weeks. And what I've found in my own personal experience is that I've seen a big eruption sort of sales and recruits when I've done it that way. It's sort of like the preamble, to the actual launch. And that's done very well for me over the years. And it all just comes down to being on video and being honest with your audience and honest with yourself. And just talking about your vision, just like John did when he was walking his dog. Same thing, just talking about where you're going to go, and I would love to invite you guys on this journey with me. So that's what I would say to you, John. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next question.
All right, thank you, Johnny. Hope that helped you out. And our next caller is Rosie. Hey, Rosie, you're on the air.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi. Hi, yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I was just wanted to say something because I just resonated with the last person who was speaking. I'm in Digital Altitude because I want to create a legacy for my family, but at the same time, I'm at the point where it's too late to start things over to try to build a retirement and a 401k and all that, and I need something to work for me now. So,
well, Rosie, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but I do want to say something. Are you, and please don't take this the wrong way, but are you in the grave with dirt on top of you?
Am I with what?
Are you in the grave with dirt on top of you?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You're talking to me on this call.
Well, I am, but I took that kind of metaphorically,
Well, you're not.
Speaking of my position right now, but I totally believe in Digital Altitude and the what it can do for my life. And I was at the Ascend event, and I came back, and I just want to work just like twice as hard. I don't have results yet, but I know it's coming. I know my seeds are planted, and I know it's going to grow. So I do believe in it. I met John Lavinia, so I'm really happy about that. I know all these people are real. I know it's not a scam, and I know if I
Yeah,
model them and do what they're doing, that I'm going to get to where they're at. So
and
I
it's
just wanted to
that's
put that out there.
good. I'm glad you did, and that's absolutely true. And you know what? There is still time. If you're alive today, there is still time. And I've been on life support like tons of times now. Like 3 times now I've been on life support. So
Oh
I
my
know,
goodness.
I know that if you're alive, there's still something that you can do. And believe me when I tell you that what you do, so long as you go for it with all of your gumption. You said that you believe in digital altitude, you believe in the offer, and now you just need to believe in yourself and put that stuff out there, because I guarantee you in your time on this earth that you've developed some experiences and some common sense and some good things have come during your lifetime, and you can speak about those experiences and what you've learned from them. And again, about that vision, speaking that vision, I want to drill it into everybody's head, because that is, it's not only speaking it for yourself to let you know where you're going, but it's letting others know where you're going, and people will respond to that because people want something to believe in, and when they find it, they begin to believe in themselves, and they begin to do for themselves.
Yes, and I like
So,
what you said about, let people know what you want to do and to where you want to go, and then later on ask them to go ahead and join you, because I am very enthused about that. And I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do with my video. I want to go out and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is where I want to go, and this is my vision. And so you gave me some direction on that, and I really appreciate that. So that's going to be a video, my second video that I put on YouTube. I'm just getting started with
awesome.
that, and I was kind of social media challenged because I didn't grow up with that. I had to develop into it. So now I'm coming out of that. I'm definitely way out of my comfort zone. I'm so far out of it, there's no way to get back to it. So I have got to make this work. Right now, I'm just saying my life depends on it. I got to make it work, and I got to make it work for myself and my family, and so that my husband and I we can retire better than in a better position than where we're at now.
And speaking that right there is actually something that is that's its own video within itself, is being able to say something along the lines of, you've got to work your business like your life depends on it, because oftentimes it does. So almost like reframing that exact statement that you had, and giving it and sort of spinning it just a little bit to be like, this is a piece of advice, because you stating that, you just gave advice to yourself. You said, I need to work my business this way, and like my life depends on it. And having that type of belief and motivation, drive, if you're able to kind of spin it and just give people that advice, like, hey, you guys should do this thing, you guys should work your business like your life depends on it. You guys should work your business with all of your might and all of your heart, is really where you're going with that. Then for a lot of people, it will inspire them to feel that way and to take that action. So.
And it's kind of, well, while I was sitting there listening to the call, I was also looking at something on Facebook that somebody was stating, saying that they were putting all this time in and they felt like DA was a scam. And I was like, no, it's not a scam. This is real. This is real. Don't give up. So I was listening to both, and it's just like, I guess I just kind of got the light bulb came on that is what I need to tell people,
Yeah.
This is real. This is not a scam. From wherever you're at in life, your life can change, but you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to listen to the steps. You're going to have to listen to your coach. You're going to have to just put yourself out there. And I'm telling myself that too, because that was one of my drawbacks, I was afraid, how can I make a video? Oh, I don't look right today. Oh, I don't know what to say. How do they know what to say? And I don't know what to say. And I'm like, so I'm saying something now that has some worth. So that's what I can turn around and do.
Rosie, for a long time I struggled with what do I make a video on? And I just started making videos on the advice that I needed to hear for myself, and putting it out there made it real for me. And it made me actually apply and listen. If you go back through my Facebook timeline and go through some of the videos, every video that's on there was something that I myself needed to hear.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Go ahead, yeah. That everything that's on there is something that I myself needed to hear, and because I said it verbally and put it out there online, I felt like I had to live by it, and I felt like I had to stand by that statement, and it made me into a better person and a stronger person with better results much faster.
Right.
So,
I just know I got to get out of my own way. I really got to get out of my own way and make it work.
So, Rosie,
can I offer an angle on this?
Absolutely, please do.
So here's the thing, guys, that's coming up for me. This is for Johnny, for Rosie, for anybody else who's considering what sort of content they could be authentically putting out. There's a couple of considerations that I'd like for you to think about here. Number one is that you're already engaged and involved and interested in something. That something could be walking down the street to the store. I used this example the other week here on the Black Diamond call, where I said, there's a bum on the street. I don't know if you were on that call, Rosie, but we were talking about creating a narrative here, creating content. And so something like seeing the bum on the street, I just pulled it out of the thin air here. What does that mean? Like, what meaning can I get out of this? Here's a guy collecting cans and, begging for quarters or whatever. And how can I add meaning to that? This was you can go back maybe a month and see the Black Diamond, listen to the Black Diamond episode about, what does it mean? Well, this means whatever I say it means, right? And this is a metaphor, you see, for life. Here's the bum, and, this is the, a lot of people don't realize it, but this is, how they're going through life with their job or whatever. Now, you may not be a bum, but have you ever felt like you're just scraping by? And so you see how much meaning I just added to something as inconsequential as seeing a bum on the street. Okay? Now, I didn't actually see the bum on the street. I just conjured that up. But there are all kinds of events that you're already engaged in, just because you're not 6 feet under, like Joe already revealed. Or actually that you revealed, but Joe asked you about. And so what meaning can we add? What metaphor can we come up with to come up with content? You see, life's happening all around us, which brings me to the second idea, which is that because you're interested in certain things, you can also do things that, like Joel said, you put your heart into it. Well, there are things that your heart is already into. Like for me, for example, let's see, I like snowboarding and riding my Harley and guns. A lot of people know I'm into like tactical weapons training and all that kind of stuff. And are there any other Earthlings that are into that stuff? Oh, sure they are. Sure they are. So now can I not do like maybe a lifestyle bit? And by the way, here's the end of the video. By the way, folks, if you'd like to have time to shoot videos like this or play with your guns or whatever, click the link below and you can see how I fund my businesses, right? Why I'm not working a job right now, and why I'm, demonstrating, how to polish, the chrome on your Harley or something. So what does it mean? Well, it means whatever you say it means. But these are things that you're already interested in. You've already got some knowingness about, right? And you can attract other people who are sort of on that same frequency. Last thing I'll say is, as Joel indicated, you've got things that you could deserve to learn or be reminded about. I've often said that I'm always interested to hear what I'm going to say whenever I'm on stage or hosting a call like this, because I need reminders too. Sometimes I read my own book and I'm like, oh my goodness, how profound I was when I wrote that. So great, that's great. So if we, and this is something I taught in one of the courses that I produced years ago, if we have the sense of cognition, in other words, aha, that's really great. If we get that sense prior to attempting to communicate something to somebody, they're going to receive a bit of a transfer of that as well. So if I need to shoot a video and I'm kind of drawing a blank, go grab a book, go grab Think and Grow Rich, go do something to enlighten and cognite something, and you have an aha moment, and then which, by the way, that forces you to actually pay attention to what you're reading. So that's really good stuff. You don't just read and then forget. You read as if you've got to teach it to somebody. And then you go and you do that. You close the book. You don't refer to it again. And then now you're feeling all enlightened and happy. And now you go give it in your own words to somebody. And they're like, oh, my goodness, that's so profound. Oh, thank you very much. But all you did was, hey, I need to learn something. So you go learn it. And then you're immediately, you inflow and then you immediately outflow. And now you've got content, and it's yours. So those are just a few ideas that are coming up for me.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I really enjoyed meeting you at the Ascend. And you probably don't remember me, but it's okay. I got a picture with you, though.
Hold on a second, Rosie. Hold on a second here. I'm not dealing with this whole self-invalidation thing. I remember you. I've got a photographic memory. You're Rosie Thomas. I know you.
Am.
That's right. I know you. Nobody's forgetting you. You are quite memorable, my friend. Quite memorable.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. All right. We're gonna go to our next caller. Oh, it's 6 minutes after. All right. That's cool. Let's go to let's see here. Ross. Hey, Ross, you're live on the air.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes,
and
sir.
It looks
Hey.
like 2 appearances of you, but I guess there's only one of you. Are there 2 of you, Ross?
There may be 3, but there's only one right here right now.
Okay.
So I really like how you're talking about how the guns and the Harley and everything else like that. So just for clarification, so I could do a video of this authentically being myself with things I'm interested in, like, like I like comics, I like, stuff like that. I like to draw, I like to do my little fiddle and around with music. So I should basically just do videos of that because that really is me being my natural self, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you
Awesome.
know, like comics and drawing, like I was into that I'm still very much into comic books. Like I used to draw
Sweet.
comic books. I used to ink. I was an inker for a long time, all through high school and a little bit past high school too. I was an inker. So I drew everything from like Spawn to all the stuff, all Marvel, and so like making videos and that type of stuff, you could see already like how enthusiastic I got immediately once you mentioned comics and drawing, is because like that would be a video I would watch because I'm interested in that type of stuff.
All right.
So yes, just like what John was saying about the Harley and the stuff that you're already interested in, you already have that knowing and that confidence about, making content on those types of things, that's what we call lifestyle video, and that type of stuff can really, really inspire a lot of people to want to figure out what you're doing and how they can do it themselves.
And my second question, if you guys don't mind, was, and like posting content on YouTube is great, but it's kind of like you kind of have to wait forever to receive a payout for it. So shouldn't I just go ahead with my ClickFunnels and get that stream right into me?
Well, I mean, building social profiles is it's a long game. Okay, so you may see some immediate results from it, especially from like a social network that's a little bit more live, like Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
But don't discount putting stuff on like YouTube and your own personal blog and stuff like that, because here's something like I stress this so much to everybody on my team, everybody I work with, and people that I consult for, is that you've got to build a business for today and tomorrow. Okay. And if if you're going for that only that short-term gain, what'll happen is that you're making money online, but you're not building a business online. Mm-hmm. And it's very different, because when I first got started, I was making money online, and as soon as the shoe drops, all of a sudden you're not making money anymore. So you want to build this brand presence, you want to build up you, okay?
Okay.
And I stress that a lot. You want to build up you, because as you build yourself, that is what creates the trust. That's what creates the longevity. And we use Digital Altitude and their amazing culture and their amazing products to sort of be that vehicle to help us get to our dreams and help us meet the right people and help us grow. But you are the business, and it'll always be that way. No matter what business you're in, no matter if you're doing affiliates or anything else, even if you're running an offline business, you are the business. And so posting stuff on YouTube and stuff, yes, it may be a longer-term game, but I can tell you people like people that are on top, like Josh Elder, like everyone knows he's very much into YouTube. Dude's been doing YouTube since like '09, and I've known Josh for a lot of years, and I've seen where he started, and now what those old videos from like 5, 6, 7 years ago are still making him money. So it's something that you definitely want to build that long-term brand presence and build it on the social networks too. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat if you're into that. And, at some point in time, getting your own personal website or blog or something like that. So, but
so
for
like
now...
pardon me. So like now, in a sense, with social media, you might as well just already use the platforms that are already existing, because that's going to help you get your brand out further, because people are already familiarized with the YouTube, with the Snapchat, with the Facebook.
Exactly. Those platforms are already there. Get on them and start building that audience, because the audience is what's going to follow you, okay? And the audience, like let's just take for example, right? You're doing Digital Altitude. It's 2-3 years down the road. You've made a go out of it. You've made it successful, and all of a sudden you get this brilliant idea for some piece of software, right? Well, you've got an existing audience that you've been cultivating for the last 3 years that trusts you, that trusts what you have to say. And you say, hey, I got this awesome piece of software, boom, and all of a sudden you have another income stream. So it builds on itself. It builds on Digital Altitude. It builds on, all those things. So yes, build it on the social networks, and don't be afraid to put in the work. Don't be afraid of the process, and know that you're building a business today and tomorrow.
Okay. If I may say right quick before you guys cut off the mic, I love Digital Altitude. I love you guys. I'm really happy to be on the Black Diamond call. For everybody that's on the call, I love you guys. Keep on grinding it out like Tony Hawk, and I'm excited to see you guys in Orlando.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Ross, and awesome stuff. With that, we are done with the Q&A and the Black Diamond call for this week. Hey, Joel, thank you so much for being here with us. This was really, really fun. I really enjoy any time that you and I get to have a little banter, have a little conversation here. So, yeah, you're awesome, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, John. Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. And look, we're going to have a recap of this tomorrow morning. Which is just a few hours from now, when Joel will be out here with us again.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's always a weird one. Like if we got, like in this case, long format Monday night, short format Tuesday morning. So Joel, anything you forgot to share with anybody tonight, come back with us tomorrow morning.
Okay, awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. You guys have a great night. You absolutely deserve it, and I will see you all on the wake-up call tomorrow. Good night for now.
Bye.